there, I'm Big Alias, and this is World War II. A year on. This little game is a year old. Well, I mean, obviously not on a technical basis. This game isn't a year old, but you know, in the sort of world of Call of Duty, a COD year is not the same as an actual physical year. And I know this game hasn't been out for a year, but usually towards the sort of end of August, start of September time, people start, you know, sort of drifting away from the current Call of Duty game. All they want to talk about and think about is the new one, and I think definitely that's happened a lot this year. There's been a lot of talk over the new Call of Duty game, and not all of it, or most of it, isn't positive. But yeah, I do want to talk about this game because this game it sort of signaled a lot of differences in the Call of Duty world for a few years, and reminded me of a lot of things that Call of Duty used to do for me back in the day. You know, World War II was a big deal to me, and this time last year I was hugely hyped over this game. I could not wait. Couldn't wait to jump into the game. You know, what they promised was boots on the ground gameplay. Not just that, but boots on the ground gameplay that was set in the past. And my favorite kind of Call of Duty games are the ones that are either set in the past. By the way, I was doing something on my phone, I think, then. Yeah, my favorite Call of Duty games are the ones that are set in the past or in the sort of current day. I think even I would go as far as to say that even Modern Warfare 3 just went a little too far into the future. I like my Call of Duty games to be semi-believable. I mean, I know that it's not real, and I know that Halo is my favorite game series of all time. You know, I do love sci-fi films and games and everything like that, but I think that there's this middle ground that they've been exploring so much recently that I just don't like. I don't like the sort of, it's not modern day, but it's not future. It's this near future. I don't like near future. I think that it's trying to make things seem believable that just aren't. You know, there was so much stuff in Black Ops and in Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare and stuff like that was just kind of, you know, this is dumb, this is stupid. I don't like it, and because of that, I don't like the aesthetic of the game. But I will say this: there is much more to talk about, and I do think that my opinion on Black Ops 3 was the opposite to what a lot of people are saying nowadays. And I say a lot of people are saying nowadays because I think there are a lot of people who are saying things about Black Ops 3 now that they didn't say when it came out. I'm reading a lot of, Black Ops 3 was like my favorite Call of Duty, yeah, it's the best gaming experience, yeah, best Call of Duty. Nobody was saying that when it was out. Everybody kind of was in agreement that they had gone too far with the exosuits. They were sick of seeing them. Everybody was flying around doing backflips and things like that. And, you know, we're moving from one end of the map to the next in about 2 seconds. And that kind of feeds into what I want to talk about with this game, because the reason I do like this game, I like World War II, and the reason I like it so much is because it isn't like Infinite Warfare. It isn't like Black Ops 3. It was the first time since, I would say, maybe Ghost, or maybe even like Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 3, where you actually felt like you were in a map and you were in a conflict and you were shooting people. Even though some of the maps were too small, they still felt more real. You know, I have a big issue with the maps in Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare and, you know, all those exosuit futuristic games, because they just felt like a box with corridors. I get that they had this lane system that they talk about so much these days, but it's so see-through and so obvious, and I could see it. I could see that you were just plopped into a box and there are lanes that you have to go down and corridors in order to get to the conflict, and I didn't like that. For the first time since, yeah, I would say probably Ghosts, a Call of Duty game, you kind of had to pick where you had to be, where you had to hide, and, you know, you had to. That's why I chose this map, because it's the biggest demonstration of that. There might be someone behind you, or around the corner, or, you know, behind this truck or something like that, and that just simply didn't happen in Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3 and things like that. And I can see it not happening in Black Ops 4. With everything that I'm seeing about Black Ops 4, it feels like it's a return to those box with a few lanes and corridors kind of style of maps, where you can just, you know that you're on a map. I don't know, it's such a weird thing to kind of try to demonstrate. I don't know if anyone feels the same way, but you feel as though you are just plopped into this box and there are a few corridors for you to go down. But World War II didn't feel that way. Despite the fact that many of the laps were laid out that way, it didn't feel like that was the case. I did like it, and I think I had a really good experience with World War II because I booted it up, I played the first mission of the campaign, which, despite what anyone else says, was awesome. That was a badass mission. You storm that beach, you have health packs, you have to think about where you're going. It's great. It was awesome. And the campaign itself was a great campaign, and I had a great time with it. And because I played that first mission first, I went into the multiplayer with the mindset of the aesthetic that they'd given to me, and it just felt better, which is why I was able to sink more time into this game than other games. I did enjoy the game, and I thought it was good, and that's why I prestige for the first time since like Ghost. I haven't prestige in a Call of Duty game since Ghost, because with Advanced Warfare I traded in after like 2 weeks after I beat the campaign, and I was like, this is such a terrible game. Black Ops 3, I couldn't stand the multiplayer because everyone was just jumping around, moving, across the map from one end to another within seconds. Infinite Warfare was very similar. As I said, I really hated the maps, but with this, I don't know, it felt like I had a good time because it felt like Call of Duty again. It really did feel like that style of, yes, it's fast, yes, there's a lot going on, but you can still sort of plan out what you're doing and be tactical. And again, I don't think I can see that happening in Black Ops 4. It's sort of going backwards and regressing back into that, just dumbass, stupid gameplay style that I just cannot enjoy. That being said, I don't play it to this day. I played it for a few months. Sometimes I pick it up, sometimes Ashley plays it, but I don't play it to this day because they had this game, though fundamentally good, and it was a good game, and it's the best Call of Duty, I think, since, I would say, it goes as far as say, like Black Ops 2. But this game did have one big glaring issue that prevented me from playing it consistently until now, and it was the first Call of Duty game in a very long time that I did consistently like, since probably Black Ops 1, which is my favourite Call of Duty, but it's got to be the Call of Duty that I did consistently like from start to finish, the first one in years. But this game shipped with 9 maps, and that is the biggest issue with this game. Content. There just wasn't enough. I finished the campaign, and then I went into multiplayer, and with 9 maps, if you play 100 games, I mean, it's 9 maps, and one of them was a remaster of a Black Ops 2 map as well, and it was one that everybody played over and over and over again, so I felt as though I played that ship map, hijack, so many times, and you jump into a game, and you could play 20 games and play the same map 6 times in a row. It was just it sort of gritted on me. It was too much of the same thing in regards to the maps. I have an issue with playing the same aesthetic, the same thing over and over again. I can't just be plopped into one. That's one of the reasons I don't like Fortnite so much, is because it has to be refreshing. And with Modern Warfare 3, I think it shipped with like 16 maps. I think Black Ops 2 shipped with about 14, 15. So for it to go backwards and for them to only give us 9 maps was crazy, or even 8 maps. And then, so I gave it a chance though. It was good gameplay. I gave it a chance until the DLC came out. But when the DLC came out, I bought it, and it had, 3 or 4 extra maps, and they all looked just like the ones that we had in the base game, and one of them was a remaster of a Modern Warfare 3 map that I played over and over. So that was World War II. It was a great game, held back by its content,